the benefit of joining as freshers is good. Like, you're all confused, so you can form your own clique of confused freshmen.
And my campus experience was lit. It was exceptional. It was amazing. I enjoyed every part of it.
I just knew I was going to join choir because my sister was in choir in the same school. I can't sing, but I joined choir. And I knew I was going to play basketball.
They come naive, calm, just respectful. You can actually see it in the way they dress. So this girl who came in a pleated skirt, you see them swing from one end to the other extreme.
My name is Alois Mutua. I was in Kenyatta University. I did film and theatre.
Hi guys, my name is Philgona Omungo, but you can call me Phil. But now you can call me Fee. I continue shortening it as days go by or as I get older.
My name is Sharon Musyoki. I'm a first-year student at State University. I'm also a content creator by night.
For my undergraduate, I did a BSc in Actuarial Science in my university. And for my postgraduate, I've done Masters in Mathematical Finance in Strathmore University and graduated last year, December.
I do filming, I do content, I do photography, I do editing.
I'm taking communications, which is basically like journalism and this whole media world. It came to me, I think, 2020 during Corona, when I realized, okay, I've always known I like cameras and being in front of the camera and behind sometimes. So late 2020, when I started doing like content creation, is when it came to me that this is the course that I'll do. So that it's not only something I do for fun, I can also advance and actually make money out of it.
I knew what I wanted to do, so that's what I did. I had any conflict. I really didn't have sikuwa na expectations mingi sana, but for me I was just open to anything.
I just knew I was going to join choir because my sister was in choir in the same school. I can't sing, but I joined choir. And I knew I was going to play basketball, and I expected to meet like different people from different regions doing different things, which I did.
I was very excited, of course, because, like, it means no uniform, no rules, no school bell. So I was very excited going into campus.
And what I expected to get but didn't get was the spiritual guy. I didn't even say that I was a CU leader during high school. So I go to campus and it's different. You go to CU, the service takes 3 hours, and you used to do 2.5. No, you used to like an hour service in high school. So CU was very tough. So expected that spiritual nourishment in campus that I really didn't have because I was struggling to go to CU. And then we had another chapel called Grace Chapel. It was a bit different from CU. It was more liberal, if there's something like that, liberal church. The churches young people love nowadays. Yeah, and so I used to go to Grace Chapel, but still didn't get like. Yeah, because maybe I wasn't keen on looking for it.
What I heard were mostly negative stories about company, peer pressure. But I was expecting to see that and to be able to make for myself a decision, a well-informed decision, as like I've been taught growing up.
Freedom ilikuwa mingi and it was sweet. And me, I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed every part of it. I was excited to leave home because I was home for so long, and I think the only expectation I had was just being away from home for a while, or for 4 years.
Unlike high school, where most students operate within the boarding setup or from home, college, in most cases, especially within the university, most of the students tend to reside on campus. So at home, while there is supervision at home, there is no supervision or very minimal supervision on campus.
from high school to campus, it was quite a transition. And then, let's say when I was getting to around fourth year, third year, fourth year is when I got like friends who would lead me to church. Like, let's go to church. Not like I used to go clubbing, yeah. But I'd rather just stay in the hostel and cook and watch a movie than sleep. And then Sundays in the morning, I'm like, damn, it's Sunday, I need to go to church. So I got friends who were like, free, like service is like for 2 hours, 1.5 hours, let's just go, yeah. So I eventually got to church, back to church. And then it was when we used to break for long holidays, I'd come to church here. And then long holidays, I come to church here, so it's good. And then after church, after long holidays, then long holidays, so it was just a roller coaster, yeah.
One thing that they need to take note of is that there's no freedom without responsibility. There's freedom, yes, but you have to be responsible and accountable for your actions. You make a wrong turn, it actually backfires back on you. What I tell students is, your parents brought you to study. Don't ever think that you're studying for them. You're actually studying for yourself. So whatever decision you make, it is actually to improve you.
Campus and high school are very different. There's, of course, the freedom that everyone talks about. Like, being able to make a choice to attend class or not is, it's a very big choice to make sometimes, and a very tough one. Having, like, your lecturer not following you, where's your assignment, why didn't you attend, that's also like a big task. Also, like, financially, say in high school, you're not given so much pocket money. So maybe nowadays you see more money and not, yeah, you're given more money because maybe you have more expenses than when you are a high schooler. And also, like, socially, you meet all kinds of people with all kinds of beliefs and all kinds of thinking ways. Yeah. Yeah, so it's very different, and you're not really prepared. You just go and see for yourself.
And my campus experience was lit. It was exceptional. It was amazing. I enjoyed every part of it. Yeah, I think I would go back if I was to go back. But since it has passed, we have to move on.
The freshers, they are compounded with this newness, in the sense that they are unsupervised, there's freedom. But having been privileged to interact with first years for the last close to 10 years, every year actually, I wouldn't say that there's not much. I know that comes as a shock, because you expected that they come and they are rowdy and they are uncontrollable. No. First years come, they are usually very calm. It is actually the most respectable class. They attend classes regularly. They do assignments on time. They are the ones who will actually call you to remind you that there's a class. Of course, this will go on for a while, and that is within the first semester, which is about 3 months. Then the second semester, of course, now you start seeing some changes. And they do this not knowing what is expected of them, but at the same time, they are learning the environment. So this newfound freedom, they know they have it, but they are careful within the first few months. So you only start seeing some changes, some attitudes, not in all the students, in a few students, as you interact with them in the second semester, usually not in the first semester.
It was an interesting course to pursue. And also I like entertainment.
Oh, gladly, at this day and age, it's an appreciated field. I think back in the day, they'd be like, no, your grades are pushing you to this other profession. So they are very supportive, and they were all what? They're like, all the blessings, do this course. This is like the best university. Just go and read and make your money.
I remember the days guys were choosing their courses. I really didn't go to choose my course. So the first course I landed at was BA social science or something. So I attended class for like 2 weeks. I'm like, by the way, I'm not just an artistic person. Where are the numbers? I just want to do maths. I just want to. So I decided to change to actuarial science.
So you have the arts and the sciences. So you can actually tell if you're an arts person or a science person.
I really wanted to be an auditor. And then I joined Davis and Shatliff. It's a water solutions company. And after joining Davis, I'm like, I don't want to be an auditor anymore. After working in Davis for 3 years, I thought, I don't want to be an accountant anymore. I just don't want to be an accountant anymore. And by then, I joined Strathmore to do my mathematical finance masters. And I remember one day when I seated in class, the teacher asked me, why did you choose to come to Strathmore to do your masters in mathematical finance? My first thought was, I wanted to go to Oxford, but here we are. So I came to Strathmore so that I might get a new job. Then the teacher was like, but aren't we all looking for new jobs? But deep down, I knew I was going to get a new job. So I met classmates. Some of them were working with KPMG. Some of them were working with FSDA, really big organizations. And I remember this classmate called Don that stood out. He was doing data analytics, and I was really keen on it. So I decided, by the way, I'm going to change from being an accountant to being a data analyst. And I looked for jobs. I looked and looked and looked. I applied jobs in the UN everywhere. I was so tired of applying until there's a point UN asks questions, and there's a question they asked, why do you want to come and join the UN? I just replied, to travel. Because now what to do? I finally got a job with BM Security as a data analyst, and after doing it for 7 months, I thought I need a different job. I felt like the HR was taking a very long time to confirm, to give me a contract, a permanent contract. So I needed a different job. And this, I was telling a friend of mine this yesterday, that something happened in the office, and my spirit was so heavy. I just took my diary and wrote, God, I need a new job. And I was still a student at Strathmore then. Yeah, so I continued applying for jobs, and then I got my current job as an investment banker, and I love it so far. Let's see how it goes.
I took the time to really make sure that the course that I was going to pursue at the time was something that I'm okay with, I love, and I'm comfortable doing.
I have friends who changed their course even halfway through, and I don't think, okay, for those I know it wasn't pressure. I think it came down to interest, because some of them lost interest and they decided they wanted to do other things. Others just changed for no reason. But I don't have many people. The people I started with, most of them we finished.
When I was admitted, I was actually admitted to do BCom. And of course, I loved economics, but I didn't know whether that is what I wanted to do, counting and, speaking economics every day. I didn't know, I wasn't sure that is what I wanted. So what I did is, of course, it was the in thing compared to what my other classmates were going to do, my friends. It looked very nice, but what I did is I attended classes for the first 2 weeks. And I realized as much as, yes, I'm getting it, I didn't think I wanted to pursue that. So what happens is on campus, there's a policy that helps such students who are caught in between. You are good in maths, but you don't want to pursue maths. So you're given a 2-week period to try the other course. And you can actually change to that which you want to do only if the cluster points can allow you.
I don't think there was a lot of culture shock. Just like for example, a situation where I'm seated in a room and no one else is caring about my needs. Even though I work out or, even negatively, if something bad happens, it's all on me. So just being alert and careful, and yeah, that was the culture shock I experienced, like being responsible on my own.
For me, there was a time for everything. There was a time to, if it was time for class, it was time for class. It was time kufanya project or group discussion. That one was, I couldn't escape from. You had to do it because that's what you are there for. So you can't say, oh, my education part was important as much as any other stuff was. So I had to do, I had to read, I had to study, and I'm glad that it paid out.
There are a few ups and downs, situations that come to you and you're like, okay, this has been presented to me. I need to like take a step back and kind of evaluate the choice I'll make and the consequences that will come. Yeah, and my parents have helped me like make informed decisions.
It's like you're going into a new territory that's very promising, but you're not sure it will actually fulfill for you what you're going to do. But when you get on campus, the difference is that it is actually a principle that worked for me. You no longer wait for people to tell you what to do. You have to put your foot in front of the other if anything has to move for you.
The benefit of joining as freshers is good. Like you're all confused, so you can form your own clique of confused freshmen. So it's not so hard. It wasn't so hard for me to make friends. It's just finding a group of people who share the same ideologies and beliefs, and yeah, you think the same way. So it wasn't so difficult for me.
I didn't have like that pressure, but there's this one thing I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a commercial model, like to be seen on billboards and yeah, so I think that is one thing I really tried to fit into but couldn't. Yeah, so that's one of the pressures I felt. Oh, I need to really fit into the commercial world and surrounded by cameras and people telling me to do stuff, and no, I couldn't.
So I can say, like, for example, maybe one time, like after class, you can find some people planning, say, a road trip over the weekend. And you're told, okay, people are talking and talking. They're like, oh, by the way, are you down to come? So I tell them, oh, no, I'll check back with you, and never see them again.
I think when I was joining campus, I was naive about a lot of things. But with time, after Kwa campus, it teaches you on how to be, I don't know if I say alert, to be alert, like ukue rada, you know. Me, I was so naive, by the way, in joining campus. Do you need an example? I won't give an educational one.
Yeah, don't give an educational one.
I remember there was a girl I was looking, you know, in the corner, was eyeing, and one day we were supposed to meet, and she kept me waiting for hours. I waited for 3 hours, and still I was hoping that she would come. So after that, I think after that experience, first of all, I understood how valuable your time is. And say, right now, no one can waste my time. I can't wait for you for more than 15 minutes. It doesn't matter. As in, if we agreed on a specific time, you know, some of those experiences taught me on how to respect time, and also on how to teach other people on how to respect my time.
For one to affiliate themselves with a group, they are actually identifying themselves with that group. So, you know, identity is that set of, or those sets of qualities that differentiate you from one person to, you know, that differentiate a person from the other. You know, they define you as an individual or as a group. So what happens is freshers come with an identity. But let's remember that, you know, an identity is a function of many factors. Of course, there's culture, there's the religious affiliation, there is, you know, just the people you've known in the past. they actually shape your identity. So they already come with an identity, but because it is dynamic, they also come with an expectation that they are coming to learn, they are coming to make new friends, they are coming to acquaint themselves with a new environment and maybe try to influence or get influenced.
I just hang out with people, say we have the same class. So if we finish class, we'll walk out together, we talk, or then, yeah, just there's no like strict criteria I have chosen to pick a friend yet.
When we talk to them, we say you're always safe when you identify yourself with your course mates. If not your course mates, look for people who have similar interests. If not similar interests, then look for people who you are affiliated with religiously, kind of. So that is what guides the freshers. But of course, with time, because they are learning and they have this perception that even though they have an identity, there's what they think campus life is. So they are taking on, like I said, the first year is about observation, learning, quietly observing and picking on certain attributes and making opinions. So, of course, after a while, they will start breaking off. They came as religious people or persons. They will want now to be identified with what they think actually now defines who they want to be. And of course, this becomes a make or break point, in their lives, because eventually it actually defines how they come out at the end of the day, because of the choices they make at that point when they are trying to take on their new identities.
I balanced school life and church life. It wasn't easy, but I would make a point to be going to church at least every Sunday, even if it was not every Sunday, and try and use whatever I've learned in school in serving in the media department.
In campus, it calls for you to actually be intentional in your spirituality, not following, say, what your parents believe or what you think you believe. You actually have to read for yourself and study and do your self-reflection to know who you are in Christ, I can say.
There's a time I used to work in Eldoret and I had a lot of cases in the office. Oh, Philgona has not done. Oh, Philgona, oh, Philgona, oh, Philgona. Until there's a time one of the directors was like, Phil, do you have, no, they used to call me Phil then. Phil, do you have time? I need to talk to you about your performance. And you notice this is the time I was not like in church. There's a form of excellence you get from church that you apply in all the circles of your life. You'll apply it at workplace, because you're not working for your boss. You're not working for the boss of your boss. You're working for God. Yeah, so there's a form of excellence you get when you stay in church.
My dad told me you can't serve two masters. You can't be in school and you're chasing money. One thing will fail. And I really, that one, I was like, sasa naniambia nini. But the day you start missing cuts because you was out doing what, that is the day you know you can't serve two masters. Because me, I had two retakes. One was not because of money, but the other one was because of money. You're out doing a job out there and you miss two cuts. You miss some lessons. Yeah, you will. That is the only thing I'd say that I was like, when I look back at it, I was like, hey, thank God I didn't chase that money sana. Otherwise I would have maybe not even graduated.
I've heard many stories of people say you were supposed to be in their company and maybe one thing went wrong and they were in a cell or something. So there are very many consequences, and the right decision helps you to avoid
there's a possibility of coming back. We have counseling centers. We have a counseling office on campus that handles that. Of course, for those who self-search, it has to be a conviction from within that you want to make a comeback. But for those who are not able to do that, of course, there's also a way of reaching out to them to just ensure that they get back on track. But what happens is, while some are able to find their way back, what happens is there are a lot of scars, usually. There's a lot of learning, there are a lot of experiences that some are good for them, but others leave, wounds that they have to live with for the rest of their campus life.
Mi nimeona watu wakikula school fees, and I've seen people being expelled from campus. And being expelled from campus is different from being expelled in high school. Me, what I'd say is, first of all, if you have come umekula school fees, just tell your parents the truth. You will kula school fees. Sometimes life people make stupid decisions and mistakes, but you learn. Because me, I know there are people wenye wamekula fees, na sai mtu akipatwa fees haizi kula, because it cost maybe a whole semester or a whole year. So sai, the only way to bounce back is you just be truthful to yourself that I made a stupid mistake, and you just have to take responsibility and own up to it. That's the only way you bounce back.
No matter how deep you are, and no matter the mistakes you've made, it's always possible to make a comeback. Of course, it's never the same. In Ecclesiastes, is it 3:1-8? To everything there's a season, a time for every purpose. You had a season when you were supposed to do certain things. But what is unique with seasons is you can't defer. You cannot postpone a season and say, people are planting, let me sit, I will plant when they're harvesting. It will not work for you because the conditions will be so different.
So nataka kuwa successful, but I think definition of success to me is maybe not, or I might not have maybe the biggest company or something, but I think if today I wake up and my goal is to maybe do photography, and at the end of the day my client is happy, that is success to me.
Finding myself, I can say it's not a one-day thing, it's not a one-week thing, it's not a one-month thing, it's a process that I can gladly say I'm on. So day by day, I am finding myself.
Would I say that I've found my purpose? Yes and no, because one of the reasons, this comes out very clearly, and Requirement says this very clearly. If you make a plane, for example, and let's say Ashley makes the plane, so I can't go to Mark and ask Mark, how do I use this? Give me the manual of how I'm going to use this plane. I can't. I need to go back to Ashley and ask her, how do I operate this plane? And I was created by God. So I won't go reading books on how this is what my purpose is, or asking people, what do you think my purpose is? What do you think I'm? No, I need to go back to the person who created me for me to know my purpose, for me to know what am I really created for. And one thing I'm so sure my purpose is just to worship God. And worship comes in different forms: to worship God through my work, to worship God through my friendships, to worship God through all my relationships, and just to be a blessing to other people, because that's a form of worshiping God.
There's your purpose in life. There's what you can do and there's what you can't do. But what I tell students is, don't go for what everyone is doing. Go for what you're passionate about. If you're not even sure whether it will give you an income in the future, basically follow your passion first and then it will help you find your purpose. In the life of a student, there are three key stakeholders, and this is the student, himself or herself, the parent, and then the teacher. So it means until you're done and you're independent, they still have a role to play in your life. So it doesn't stop. Of course, they have handed you over to an institution that has so many students. You might actually, usually we know students by their registration numbers. You key in a registration number and that is when you get the name, but what identifies you is, so it means we are actually dealing with a number, but we know there's a person. So there's that disconnection. As much as the institution is actually reaching the students through the lecturers and other arms within campus. But what happens is, as much as that is happening, for a parent, this is what I always say. If you're able, try and keep tabs on what your student is doing. What happens is that parents assume that because a student is over 18, a learner is over 18, and they're in campus, they have actually matured and they can take care of themselves. And that is when, shock on them, 4 years down the road, they're expecting graduation, you know, an invitation for a graduation, and there's none. The first thing is keep in touch. If you're not able, of course, I'm cognizant of the fact that there are parents who are remotely situated, poor, and they do not even have simple phones to communicate. In that case, of course, if you can use a friend, you know, go to the marketplace, tell somebody, call my child, let me talk. You know, just make an effort to be in touch with your child. For those who are able, drop in on them from time to time. It is very important. Let them know that you are involved. You have not just let them be. Request for a transcript once every semester and make it a habit from day one. You know, teach a child where they ought to go, and they will actually go, they will take that path.
I can advise someone who's not sure yet to just list things that they enjoy doing, things that make them feel, you know, feel good, feel nice and satisfied, like when you complete a task. So, and then like you can research on those things and what can be studied and what you can make money out of, because that's what we want.
Be open-minded, but still be someone who knows what they want. Because you might be naive, but you still know, at least you have an idea of what you want to do. So it's good to be excited. Everyone is always excited to join campus. But sasa lazima ujue how excited you can be overexcited hadi usahau uko campus. And you know, vitu zianze kwenda vibaya.
There's power in focus, and also there's power in habit. You just create a habit, maybe Monday to Friday, you wake up and you know what you're going to do. You have classes until this time, and then after that you go to the library until this time, and this is what you want to cover when you're in the library. And then after the library, this is what you do. And then for your weekends, this is what you have planned out. I have to go to church, I have to meet my buddies during the weekend. Then the week, so it's a rat race. We all know it's a rat race. So the week starts over again. So there's power in habit as well. Yeah, and also the people you surround yourself with. You are an average of your 7 friends, so you need to choose your friends wisely. This does not mean you don't interact with people who are not like you. Sometimes you need to interact, like Jesus interacted with people who are not like him. That's why he was on this earth. Yeah,
you do not require other people to validate your worth. We are all fearfully and wonderfully made. So, you know, relying on other people actually keeps you trapped. So knowing that there's only one you should give you the need to want to represent yourself the best way that you want to be. Because if you rely on other people to actually validate you, they will have the same power to bring you down. So basically, it is you and your life. So make the best out of it. Thank you.
So you can find me at Musyoki on Instagram and TikTok, and on YouTube at Maishana Musyoki.
Follow me on Instagram at _Simbarashe.
I forgot my Instagram password, so I'm not on Instagram. I'm barely active on Twitter. On TikTok, I download it during Christmas because I have time to go through the videos. You can meet me on WhatsApp.